Hi friends, it's Andrea and I am here with the 5th video in the Sewspire Stocking Stuffers series. My goal is to bring you 7 simple stocking stuffers which you can whip up in the days that remain between now and Christmas. Good to see you, Barbara. And so today we're going to be sewing one of my favorite things to make. Hi, Suzette. Good to see you. Hello, Evelyn. Nice to see you. So we're going to be making this really cute. I have the interior done, but the exterior comes together in exactly the same way. A cute little cubby or caddy box. And it is going to be made from this darling Santa elf print, and there's a little bit of brown in there because there's a little reindeer. So I'm going to use leather straps for this, and I think the leather is going to take the project next level. But these little cubby boxes are so fun to sew. They're simple and everybody likes to receive a little cubby box. And then you can make it extra special by choosing a whimsical holiday print, maybe their favorite color, monogramming their name on it. You have lots of ways you can personalize it. But then in addition to that, you can put things on the inside of it that they love. So this one is going to be a good size. It's cut from 10 by 6 inch panels. I'll give you all the measurements. But it's going to end up being about 9.5 inches wide by approximately 5 inches tall. So it's not too big that you have to buy a lot of stuff to put inside of it. But like I can imagine putting their favorite little beverage in there and then a couple of bags of cookies or something. It's a great little extra gift. Now, these are supposed to be stocking stuffers, so obviously you would not be able to fill this up and fit it in the stocking unless you have jumbo size stockings. But I'm using fusible fleece, lightweight fusible fleece, so you can fold this and roll it up and tuck it in their stocking. Or you can turn it into a little holiday gift basket. For that matter, maybe you don't have stockings and this actually becomes the stocking, if you will. Okay, so welcome everyone. It's great to see you. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to begin by giving you the pattern measurements. We are going to use this Sewspire T method, modified T method to make this. If you have not yet mastered the T method, this project is a great one to learn the T method, and I will show you step by step. Okay, so you're going to need 6 cuts of fabric that are 10 inches by 6 inches. 6 rectangles that are 10 by 6, and you're going to need 4 squares that are 6 by 6. I'm pretty sure you could do this in less than a half a yard of fabric. The lightweight fusible fleece is ideal for this project, and you're going to go ahead and fuse that to the back of all of your pieces. All right, and then in addition to that, you're going to need 2 handles, and these ones here are 9 inches long and they're 3/4 inches thick. So if you have a Michaels in your area, they sell these genuine leather sheets. They're by Make Market, and they are 9 by 12 inch sheets. If you use a coupon, I think they end up costing like less than $5. You can get a lot of straps out of one of these sheets. Maybe somebody can do the math quick. 3/4 of an inch divided by 12. You can for sure get 12 straps out of these. And I just personally think that the leather, you can use faux leather too. It could be cork as well. I just think that mixing those different fibers really adds interest to a project and just gives it that little extra special touch that makes it look so pro. Now, for those of you that have the cam press, you could also add some rivets to this. I won't do that today because I recognize a lot of people don't have the cam press, but that just gives you another way that you could kind of jazz up your cubby box. Hello, Lisa and Evelyn. I think I already said hi to you, Evelyn, but hello again. Okay, so here's how the T method goes. You're going to take one of your rectangles, and let me make sure I can get that in there for you. One of your rectangles and lay that face up, and then you're going to take your two squares, which are your sides, and you're going to position those right sides facing on top of your rectangle, and you're aligning the left and the right hand sides. We are going to be using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance for this. And again, all the pattern pieces are backed with the lightweight fusible fleece. So now I'm going to sew down the right and the left hand side, and that's going to create a tri-folding panel. Hello, Maria. Good to see you. And that's what that looks like on the front and the back. You do not have to worry about trimming up that seam allowance at all. But what you might want to do is press open these seams, and then you're going to take your remaining two rectangles, and if you're just joining us, we're making a cute little fabric cubby box with leather handles. Your pattern pieces measure 10 by 6. You'll have 6 of those backed with fusible fleece, and then you're going to have 4 squares that are 6 by 6 also backed in the fusible fleece. So take these remaining 2 rectangles and position those right sides facing, and you're going to stitch right across the base. So if you have a directional print like I do, you should have both of those facing right side up. One of them will become the base of this project, and then one will be the side. So it's most important that you don't have your side going upside down. So using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, stitch right across the base there. And then that creates a bifolding panel. And so now we're going to bring back over the tri-folding panel. It's right sides facing up on the table, and we're going to take the bifolding panel. Be mindful of whichever piece is on the top. That's, if you have a directional print, should be facing the right side up or in the right direction. So you're going to place that bifolding panel right on top of that tri-folding panel. You're aligning that base edge there. Now this is where I think people go wrong with the T method. You're only stitching seam to seam. That's different than end to end. So you're gonna stop short 3/8 of an inch from each end. I like to work on the side where you can actually see the seam. That makes it really easy. So if you need to clip, you can. These are small pieces, so I think it's just easier to hold that up. So I'm just stitching seam to seam, 3/8 of an inch. I do back stitch at the beginning and the end. And then that gives you a T. And that's why we call it the T method. Now, the modification for the T method came about thanks to the diligence of my friend Usha, a longtime subscriber here on Sewspire and a member of our 365 community. What we used to do was join this side seam and then we would close up the base. Half the time that resulted in a crooked base. So the modified T method allows us to attach the base first. So we're going to line up the base of the side with the side of the base. So you're just going to fold that in like that and line up those two pieces, and again, only stitching seam to seam. And so then you can see I have the side in place. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. And I'm just lining everything up nice and straight and even and stitching seam to seam. And then this is where I like to say the stage is set. All that's left for me to do is raise up that remaining wall. And this is super simple to do because you're just aligning the side of the side and the side of the front. And then you're going to stitch from the top to the seam. And then we just have one more side to join, lining everything up, stitching from the top to the seam at the bottom. And then you can see I have a nice rectangular box here. So the interior comes together in exactly the same way. If you're just joining us, I gave the measurements at the beginning. You'll be able to rewind once this publishes to YouTube, and you can see the project unfold from the beginning. So in the interest of time, I pre-crafted the interior. You're just going to follow the exact same process that I just demonstrated for you. So the interior will remain wrong side out, if you will. And you're going to take that top edge and open those seams. So if you press those open, they're already in place, but you could just open them with your fingers as well and fold over that top edge 3/4 of an inch. Isn't it darling, Suzette? I have a little bit more of it here. This is the brother-sister designs from the Hobby Lobby. It's so cute. I love it. Okay, so back to this here, you're folding over the top edge of your interior, which remains inside out, approximately 3/4 of an inch. Go ahead and clip that down for now. The exterior is going to get turned right side out so you can see your cute little Santa elves. Or I guess these are Santa gnomes. And everything should be nice and tidy. Not sure if the seams are showing up there. It's a nice straight bottom, a perfectly rectangular base. Just works out so good. You don't have to trim up the seams or anything. There's a lot you can do with the T method once you master that. The greatest benefit of it is you don't have to birth the project. Okay, now for the exterior, I have that turned right side out. I am going to now open the seams, and that just prevents the bulk there in case you don't have a heavy duty machine. And by opening them, I just mean fold one side to the right and one to the left, and then fold that also over 3/4 of an inch. Put a clip on that. The clips are definitely the best choice for this. If you don't have clips, though, the pins will suffice. And you could also press this edge over too. Once you get the corners clipped down, then it makes it really easy to get those long edges even. How many days do we have till Christmas now? Today's Friday. It feels like Saturday to me. Everybody was home, so we only have 2 days left. All right, here's the exterior, and then I have the interior. So I'm just gonna fit my interior right inside of my exterior. I'm gonna be lining up those seams and combining these clips. If you were consistent with your seam allowance, these seams really should line up perfectly for you. So if they're not, you know that something is awry. It's either an inconsistent seam allowance or you miscut your fabric. Now, one thing that I do want to mention to you is you may decide to skip the fleece on the inside and then your pieces don't fit together. That fusible fleece absolutely shrinks the fabric. So for this project with the quilt weight cotton, you are going to need to put the fleece on both because otherwise you're going to have a hard time getting those seams to line up nice. I recommend using the same material for the inside and the outside. Like you could use different colors of cotton, but like don't do a cork exterior and a cotton interior. I think you're going to struggle with the seam allowance on that. So that's my recommendation. Okay, so what I've done now is align all my corners, and I do find the 2 layers of that lightweight fusible fleece offers plenty of body to this. You can see it's standing up completely on its own. If you did an accent fabric on the inside, like let's say this was solid green, then you can fold over the edges and that's super cute too. I need to use up all this awesome Christmas fabric that I have on hand. So I just use the same fabric on the inside. There, darling. I love all these projects I'm making. I want to keep them all. So that's how I know they're good gifts. Because anytime you make something or buy something that you want to keep, you know you got a winner. Okay, now the finishing touch on this are these little leather straps. And that's where you could get creative, right? You could use the cork or whatever. So one side of this leather strap is, the raw leather. So I was kind of toying with the idea of pairing up two pieces of leather, but I think you would have to glue that. And I also have a few concerns that it might be too thick for the machine. So I'm going to tuck my little single cut 3/4 inch leather strap about 3/4 inches down into the interior and the exterior, so it's sandwiched between there. And that leaves me the option of adding the rivet through the fabric and the leather if I wanted to really jazz this up. And this gives me approximately 2 3/4 inch drop right there, which is just perfect for maneuvering this on a tabletop or moving it from surface to surface. And so the detail here would be in making sure that both straps are the same height. So that might be worth measuring, because you don't want one a lot taller than the other, and that looks good. Make sure you do tuck them down there at least 3/4 of an inch, because they're going to be a stress point. You don't want a handle to pop off on you. So isn't it a great size? So cute. So the next step is to put this up on the machine deck and stitch all the way around that top perimeter using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Definitely reinforce at the handles. If you're using the 1/4 inch and you put those handles down there 3/4 of an inch, you should be a-okay on that. I'm gonna start, I think, with a handle so I can get that secure. And I am just going to carefully fit that up under the machine deck, and then I won't remove the clips for the handles until I already have some of that needle in the handle so it doesn't shift on me. I'm just back stitching right over that leather. This Juki TL2000QI with a 9014 needle and my favorite Aura Fill thread doesn't have any problem stitching right through that leather. I would imagine a single layer of leather would be fine for almost any home machine. And because it's sandwiched in between the fabric, you shouldn't have any problem with skip stitches or resistance. You don't need a special foot. And also, if you didn't have the leather, you could certainly make fabric handles. You also don't even need handles. as you come up on the point where you started, try to line up those stitch lines. And then just back stitch to lock that in place. And then you just have to trim up your little stray threads there at the end, and you have a super duper cute caddy with leather handles. I would love to get this as a gift. And it's a fairly decent size, but it's not so jumbo. So this would be nice for putting like bath products in, a book, and your glasses, maybe your journals, of course, cookies, favorite foods, beverages. It'd be cute in the car, it'd be cute in the bathroom, it'd be cute in the bedroom. It's a darling in the sewing studio. Let me give you, let's see, scissors fit in there. You could fill it up with fabric, all kinds of ideas for this. So I will give you the final finished measurements, then I'm going to give you a look at the projects that we've made so far in this little stocking stuffer series. So I ended up 9 inches across the base, 4 3/4 inches tall, and 5 inches deep. That's a great size there, and you have the option of folding that little top edge over if you want and making it a little more shallow. And then you can fiddle with the handles too, but because that leather has that raw edge, I think it's kind of cute just to leave it upright. There's a lot you can do with it. You also have the option of putting handles here on the front and rear, the longer sides, and then if you do that, you could kind of make it into a little purse caddy. I think kids would love to put their little toys in this too. So if it is going in the stocking though, you're not going to fill it up with anything. It's good to see you, Veronica. So what you're going to do if you're putting it in the stocking is you're going to fold it flat and tuck it right inside of there. They could put all their loot from their stocking in their little bin. So anyways, another great gift for humans of all ages and sexes. So let me show you the other projects that we have made in this Sewspire Stocking Stuffer series. Yesterday, I showed you how to make this reversible apron. And this morning I had a great idea for this. You remember we didn't add the D-rings to the back strap. You could put snaps along the back strap. That would work out perfectly. Just add a snap, you know, maybe like 2 or 3 snaps, depending how you're gonna wear it, and you could just snap that. So that would work out really good. And then I had one more idea for this, if I can get my little knot untied, that I also thought would be super clever, and that is to attach these long straps also at the waist. So it's kind of like overalls, and you just put your arms in. So it would, you know, you'd have to give a little bit of thought to that, because you would want to attach the other end of this strap at the same time that you were attaching the waist strap. But I think that could definitely work, and that would be a super cute look too. But by far the simplest thing is just knotting it at a comfortable length for you. But second simplest would be installing a couple snaps across here. It would also be super cute as a crossback. So anyways, this thing is versatile. You can add pockets to it. But this is definitely my favorite project so far in the stocking stuffer series is this reversible apron. Second favorite right now is the cubby tote. And then we made this darling little tea wallet. And you can find all of these videos in the playlist that is labeled Sewspire Holiday Decor and Handmade Gifts. After this video is done, I'll add the end screen or whatever they call that to this video. So if you're watching this in the future, you'll see that right at the end of the video. This holds lots of packets of tea and it ties with a little closure. Super cute fabric. Then we made a cord keeper that is like taco shaped, and this particular size holds the USB-C cords perfectly. And then we made a 2-yard fleece blanket. So these are all great gifts. Let me know which one is your favorite down in the notes. And then this project here, this is the prototype for a bag that I am calling the Belle bag. It was inspired by the Ora Rosa Monica bag, which is much, much larger and just stunning. If you're an experienced bag maker, check out the Ora Rosa patterns and make yourself a Monica bag. It's awesome. But I took the techniques that I learned by sewing that bag and worked it into this bag. So this is the first one I've ever made of this, but it really is a fun sew. And I have a workshop planned for that bag that you are welcome to participate in. I'll have all the details for it in my end of year video. Our Sewspire Studio 365 members get a free pass for that event. It's going to be held on February 3rd. So that's going to be a really fun make that we're going to spend about 5 or 6 hours together on a Saturday afternoon sewing the Belle bag by Sewspire. I will also have a step-by-step written PDF tutorial for anybody who participates in that workshop, but more details to come about that in my end of the year video. So that concludes the 5th stocking stuffer in the series. Now we're getting down to crunch time because I'll have a house full of people. So I'm going to try my very best to come to you with tutorial number 6 later tomorrow night. That might be the one. I'll have a glass of wine with you and we'll sew. I have no idea what we're going to make because I've been so fortunate to wake up with the inspiration for this series in the morning, and then I like doing that because then I'm excited to make it, and that works for me. So we'll see what pops in my head tomorrow morning when I wake up, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow night. And then we're at Christmas Eve, and that one's going to get even more trickier. That might be a super late one because we have an engagement to go to on Christmas Eve. But I am going to try my best to keep my promise and get you the 7 stocking stuffers, all right? So I hope you all have a wonderful Friday night. I have some delicious Maryland crab cakes waiting for me that my father-in-law sent us. And I'm going to go enjoy a glass of wine and be thinking about what we might be sewing next. So thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next segment, everyone.